All right. The win streak is over. Gonna just rip the band-aid off right there. The win streak is over. The Knicks went down. What was it? 117, 107, I believe it was tonight to the Thunder. Pretty annoying game. The fourth quarter was a lot of things, and we'll dive into it throughout this throughout the post game. Takeaways, Luca, from that game.
Um, OKC's depth is just way better than ours currently is,
Yeah, it's a lot.
especially down Deuce, and with Campaign playing as little as he did, just tough to overcome that. And the Thunder got some really key buckets and plays from their bench guys like Aaron Wiggins, which I'm sure we'll talk about a little bit.
Isaiah Joe had a big time step back three.
He did. And that type of stuff just separates the two teams tonight, I think. And I don't think it's something that can't be fixed, but it definitely showed up tonight.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't want to play the blame game with a lot of this stuff. I know something I saw a lot of talk about tonight was the refs down the stretch and how physical they were letting OKC be, which I think they were letting one player in OKC be physical. I'm not gonna, you could read my name at the bottom right there. But I thought this team looked more or less lost when they ran those playoff scenario coverages on Brunson in the last 4 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it was. That's the takeaway for me. Um, Obviously Bridges and Towns weren't here for the last run in the postseason. They got to get used to playing off of that because we saw that exact kind of coverage in the postseason, and we eventually worked through it. We worked out the kinks, all that stuff. Just gonna have to go through the same process with these guys this year. That was my takeaway through the way we closed that game.
Yeah. Um, I don't think Jalen was phenomenal tonight in any capacity. I think it was interesting that we kept running through him as much as we did when he was struggling in the fourth quarter, whether it be because of the physicality that some players are allowed to play with or just not making shots he normally does. But either way, the Knicks have enough offensive talent, especially in their starting lineup, that they probably should be able to counter these playoff coverages, like you mentioned, the high blitzing off the screens, the doubles, um, and that just wasn't really executed tonight. And I'm sure that stuff is going to get cleaned up throughout the course of the season, but OKC just executed better than us tonight in the late fourth quarter stretch, I thought.
Yeah, yeah. Before we go too much further, I just want to remind everybody that the Strickland does have a Patreon, $3, $6, $9 tier and upwards, all the way up to $1,500, depending on your level of generosity, where you get access to our Discord, discounts to our merch, a bunch of different privileges like my football podcast, Strictly NFL, Schwinn's solo pod, Schwinn's Friday pod, and a bunch of different great stuff. So check that out over there. And then additionally, BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen with the target selection. Oh, sorry, with the largest selection. Whoa. Of odds on everything from football, the NBA, and college basketball, NHL, and UFC, college football playoffs continuing later on, as well as what else was it? NFL playoffs starting up soon. So a lot of stuff to get in on the action with over there. So head over to BetOnline today. Don't forget to use the promo code BLEAV, capital BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here. I still was watching that game and just thinking to myself, if we had Isaiah Hartenstein, I feel like the Larry O'Brien Trophy is as close to being wrapped up and sent to Madison Square Garden as possible, and that really stings.
He didn't even really do shit though tonight either, which is I mean, he did. He had 7 assists, 14 boards. He only
I
made two
I thought he
shots.
was I thought he was pretty good tonight.
Maybe I'm just hating. Maybe it was hate watching because we were getting cooked at the end. But I don't know. It's just a frustrating loss overall because of a lot of things. And I'm not one to dwell on the past or an alternate timeline because the dude isn't here. And fuck him. He's
Okay.
dead to me.
Yeah. Look, I don't blame anybody for having that feeling, but that was that was tough to watch, man, because he was doing the same stuff that he did over here with us, right?
Yeah.
SGA using him off the screens to get good looks at the basket. Jalen Williams kind of doing the same. The Knicks had him scouted on a lot of those back cuts where they were able to get their hand in the passing lane, pick off a couple of passes, but it hurt to see another contender using him the way we used him. When it was apparently we were so close to retaining him, and even if we brought him back, I still think the Cat for Randall trade happens. I think you probably ship out Mitch and get another backup wing, which would be huge right now. But
At I Heart lineups.
we're crying over spilled milk, and I think this is the one time in the year where we should be allowed to do it, right? Like first game against him, it was kind of, I don't want to say like a big heat to the game, but if they didn't have him, they would have had to run the bad Jalen Williams out there for 36 minutes at the 5. This game looks entirely different if that's what happens, right? So we can cry over it for one day. Let's make it the next 5 minutes on this pod, and then let's move the fuck on for forever because he's not coming back.
Yeah. I was hating, but he just made all the annoying little winning plays that he did for us. Like the tip outs and just the hustle and the screen setting and the spacing and the constant movement. And all of it just culminates in a sort of controlled chaos for him. And it really fucks defenses up, especially one like the Knicks where their wing defenders are very few because Tibbs doesn't really trust anybody besides the 3 starting wings to close games right now.
Yeah.
And the Thunder don't have any lack of offensive firepower between Shea and J-Dub and even iHeart, and Aaron Wiggins was hot, and they have Isaiah Joe and Cason Wallace. So with all that going on, it's tough to guard, man. They have so many options, and the Knicks starters played a lot of minutes tonight. Shamet played the most minutes off the bench with 14. Jalen played 40 minutes. That's the least of the starters. Josh played 44, OG 43, Cat 42, and Mikal 41. It's going to be tough to win like that sometimes, especially when you're cold in the fourth quarter and the offense isn't really clicking the way it has been.
Yeah, I'm not like the biggest stickler for the minutes thing, right? Like you could have games where these guys go 40 to 44 minutes. But and I should say, in the regular season, this is a game where I'm fine doing it because these guys need, those high intensity reps. But this game, and specifically the time when OG slipped on the rim, right? His hand slipped off the rim, and we thought the season was over when that happened, right? That play by itself is the reason why the 43-minute per game shit has to stop. Not because I think it's, some like irredeemable sin from Tibbs, but you just don't want that one play to happen. And there's context. It was in traffic. It was an up and down pace leading up to that play, all that kind of stuff. But we have to minimize the risk. If that was a significant injury, this season is over. Flat out over, done. And we're looking at, 2025, 26 as the next time the Knicks can be a championship team. So I've never been one to call Tibbs like an irresponsible coach or, some out of touch, old guy yelling at the clouds when we talk about the minutes. But that was a scary, scary moment for all of us. And the minutes have to come down. If that happens to any one of the 4 guys, or really any one of the 5 guys in the starting lineup, the season is over from now. And that's just the reality. That stuff has to calm down.
Yeah. I don't really have too much more to say on that, to be honest. That stuff has been overblown, I think, the past 3 years. Guys have been playing high minutes and high intensity for Tibbs for a while, and a lot of the injuries the Knicks players have sustained are kind of freak injuries. The Julius shoulder, the IQ ankle in the playoffs 2 years ago.
Bam dove on him. I was there for that bullshit.
Jalen broke his hand. OG got his hamstring obliterated by Obi.
Well, I think the good news is with Shamit back, he's going to be much more confident playing like those lineups where maybe Shamit slides down to the 3, or lineups where Brunson's out and he gets extended rest and he can hopefully get down below 36 minutes a game every game. Yeah. That's my hope.
Shamit can guard, man.
Yeah, active
he plays
hands.
Way bigger than I thought he was.
Yeah. What is he, 6'5"?
I think so.
ESPN has him at 6'4", 190. I'm curious to see what the NBA Combine had him at.
6'4", 6'7" wingspan. I'm saying. But, I mean, NBA.com.
Oh, okay.
He'll be good. I really think we could probably play Kolek more than Tibbs has been, especially with Payne in the doghouse right now. I think Kolek looked really good the other night. He had 4 assists and no turnovers, I believe, and 6 points or something like that. And he and Cat were cooking in the stretch that they played together. So there's no reason not to let him see some minutes, especially if Deuce is going to be out a couple games with this hamstring injury.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice if he isn't, because he's a spark plug in himself off the bench, and is one of the reasons our depth looked so
shot right now
weak tonight
with him being
yeah. The starters just looked fucking exhausted by the end of the game, which, like you said, they have to get these high intensity minutes in because it's going to be every series of the playoffs we play. But it really showed. We only shot 28% from 3. How many points did we score in the fourth? We scored 19 points in the fourth quarter. Got outscored 19. Got outscored by 18. Every shot was short. Every 3 was short. You could see it. Defense got a little looser because guys are just moving on OKC, and the Knicks are tired. J-Dub played 37 minutes. That was the highest minute mark for any Thunder player. Next is Shea with 36, and then third highest minutes is 32 for Dort and Case and Wallace each. So you can see really even getting those 13 minutes for guys, even 11 minutes for guys, makes a big difference down the stretch of games.
Yeah, and I think rather than putting it in the context of the starters, the Knicks bench tonight played 30 minutes total, whereas the OKC bench got 53, 62, got 70 minutes total. So their bench played 40 more minutes than ours. And between Isaiah Joe and Aaron Wiggins by themselves, they got 40 minutes. Yeah. So I don't want to keep harping on the depth shit and all that stuff, because we know this team is active. This team's going to trade. This team's going to use somebody's salary to get out, whatever, whether it's Mitch, whether it's a package of, I don't know, Campaign and Precious, whatever the fuck it may be. They're going to do something to get a backup wing here, because this is a dire situation with the wings. I think Mikal and Josh are the 2 highest minute per game guys in basketball right now.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I think.
Yeah.
Mikal has the most miles run. I think he has the most total minutes played. I think he, Josh, and OG are all in the top 10 of minutes played in the NBA or something like that. Maybe even top 5.
It's uncomfortable.
But that's what happens when Precious and Shamit go out in the second to last games of the preseason.
That's
and
true.
Then
yeah, that's fair.
You're supposed to play rookies and 2 6'2" and shorter guards off the bench. So it's I think under the circumstances, the Knicks are doing well. To your point, I'm sure Leon has been working behind the scenes to make a trade happen for a backup wing. I think that'll really just show once it happens because the starters will just be more fresh during these more high-intensity games. I'm interested to see what'll happen next Friday against OKC when we play them again.
Yeah.
We can talk about that in detail a little bit later, but I like these games, man.
This was a fun game.
It was a fun-ass game. Felt like a playoff game. I'm tired as fuck because of it. Emotionally draining game, but it was good. And we're going to have to continue to play these types of games if we want to win a championship. And we put together 3 incredibly strong quarters. And I'm going to take some silver linings from it. We were kind of, I don't know, dominant might be too strong of a word, but
in the second quarter we were
playing really fucking good basketball for 3 quarters there. And then whatever happened in the fourth happened in the fourth. But there were still those 3 quarters of excellent execution on both sides of the ball. Until the fourth, Shea wasn't really doing anything either. OG and Mikhail were kind of doing a really good job on him, making him uncomfortable.
Dude,
switching.
Mikhail's defense today was, I think, the best it's been all season.
It continues to be that way as well. I feel like every other post game, somebody says that on here because it's true.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the box score, Shea got his 33 and 7. But while he was, I think he was around like 45-ish% from the field tonight. I forgot what it was. But while he shot fine from the field, there was never really a play where I was like, oh, like he let that shit go. Like, what the fuck? There was a couple plays where he just like kind of, before halftime, he just got down the court super quick, drew a foul, and Jalen got 2 free throws. He had a couple drives where, you know, he's a great player, so he's just going to manipulate defenders to be in areas, and then he's going to have it in his mind to go the other way. You know, see a lane, hit it, get to the basket. He was up in his grill, though, for the majority of the time. OG, late in the game, stuck with him on the perimeter, forced him to a tough step-back shot. He missed it. I mean, Wingstop was there tonight, and I don't want to say anybody particularly let anybody down, but Jalen didn't play his best game, and that's kind of why we lost.
9 for 23, 0 of 5 from 3. It's just not going to cut it.
And the 3-point looks were good, man.
He missed some wide
one
open
step
threes.
back I think he had.
Mm-hmm. And back to the defense. I think Shea at some point had 17 points on like 17 shots. The only bucket that was really annoying was the lefty floater with under 30 seconds to go.
Yeah.
Or under a minute to go, or whatever it was.
That's a tough shot.
That was a tough finish. That pissed me off. Just a tough loss. The Aaron Wiggins shit is really, really brutal. The transition 3 that Cat and Mikhail gave up was fucking...
Yeah, that was bad.
Terrible. But there weren't too many of those lapses. I think that was one of the only wide open threes they got in this game, which... The Thunder are a really good offense as well. It kind of gets downplayed because of how ridiculous their defense is, but they put up points in bunches like we saw tonight. And they're a team full of 40% three-point shooters. They're on a 14-game win streak for a reason. And again, we played 3 really strong quarters of basketball. Just a tough loss.
Our bench
I feel like a coach. I feel like Tibbs.
You?
Yeah.
I guess it could sound like coach speak. Our bench took 7 shots.
Yeah, their bench outscored ours 44-5, I believe.
That's fucking nuts. That's nuts.
10, 18, 25. Yeah.
Every single player off their bench had more points than our entire bench combined. Besides Kenrich Williams.
He had 3 turnovers in 9 minutes and was a minus 10. Okay.
Yeah, he's not playing come playoff time.
Campaign was brutal again in only 8 minutes.
Terrible.
I don't know what the fuck he's been doing recently, but the IQ facade is gone for right now.
Did you come away from this game hating Jalen Williams as much as I hated Jalen Williams? Not the good one.
I've been
The bad one. The bad one.
I was gonna say I've been hating J-Dub, to be honest.
I found the bad Jalen Williams to be such a fucking like, I don't even want to say front runner, but like I feel like if that guy was ever gonna like approach somebody to get into a fight, he'd only do it if his boys were around. That's the vibe I get from him. Like, he makes one shot, they're still down like 6 points at the time. It's like middle of the third quarter. He hits a wide open three and he just like starts chest bumping everybody on the way back down to get back on defense. And I'm like, dude, you guys don't have to make everything into a fucking orgy every single time you make a shot. Like, Aaron Wiggins made a shot with 2.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The entire bench during the timeout storms to half court, and they all start chest bumping each other. Like, I've never seen that with 2.5 minutes left in the game. This is not 30 seconds left. This is not 17 seconds left. Like, this isn't a game winner. 2.5 minutes, the entire bench is up and running to half court and chest bumping. Like, enough with the fucking orgy stuff, bro. Enough with the public orgies, the post-game interview orgies. Like, they are so annoying. And Lou Dort made me hate them even more. I hated Lou Dort so much watching this game. I forgot to mention him too.
That was a good rant.
Thank you.
I appreciated that.
I appreciate that. Since
Lou
Sam's
Dort...
not here, the people aren't going to have any parlays to fucking cash in on. So I had to give him a rant.
Lou Dort had 5 fouls only somehow. He probably could have fouled out in the third quarter.
Yeah.
He was getting like magic whistle and physicality allowance against Jalen tonight.
What was funny was did they overturn the challenge where they called the off-ball foul on Dort? I forgot. It was the second challenge they used. I forgot if they overturned it or not.
No.
No? Okay, good. Because when they were looking up at the Jumbotron during that timeout, and all the OKC players were like looking up, palms facing up, like shoulders shrugging. What did he do? Like, shut the fuck up, man. Shut the fuck up, dude. Like, Lou Dort, you have like 4 inches and probably like 20 pounds on Jalen Brunson. You clearly bopped him with your shoulder in your forearm. Like, be serious. That was a foul, and I hate like this fucking prima donna. Like, these guys try to be junkyard dogs while also being like these divas on the court who are like, no, I didn't foul him. Like, shut up, bro. Like, you gotta pick an identity, and they do not have an identity that they stick with. When they're in front, they want to play the big dog, and then when they're behind, they want to play the underdog. Come on, you're not the little engine that could. Okay. You have like so many top 10 picks. You have all of NBA Twitter just wanting to fillet Sam Presti for the last 6 years after the Paul George trade. You are not some Cinderella story, man. You guys have been tanking for this exact thing from, what was it, like 2018 to 2022? And now you guys, I've been here for 3 seasons. Stop back and like, nobody believes in you or whatever the fuck it is. It might not even be that, but like the way they carry themselves, I was fucking aggravated this entire time.
I appreciate the level of hate you have for the Thunder because they don't get enough hate, to be honest.
I didn't even hate them before this game.
Oh, well, you're late on the bandwagon then because they're really fucking annoying.
I was just watching like, dude, after the good Jalen Williams made that dunk, and everybody like cleared out the paint because they want to get in his way, this guy mean mugged for at least like a minute and a half.
I hate his mean mug.
He dunked, mean mugged the crowd, Knicks call timeout. Mean Mugs all the way down the court. Has to dap up every single teammate before he stops mean mugging. That is the shit that just fucking irritates me. That
Cornball.
fucking irritates me. I'm sorry. That is like, please acknowledge me, everybody, because I just did something cool. We fucking get it, bro. We get it.
This is gonna come across so haterish, but
Maybe I'm out of line. I don't know.
I think you're spitting, but
I think that, like, dude, who sustains a mean mug for 2 minutes? I don't know. Maybe I'm being a fucking, like, just a sore loser, but I don't know, man. I
we're
thought
Knicks.
they came off so poorly tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched enough of their games to see that this is how they always react in games and big games. This shit never ceases to piss me off because they're annoying, and it's even more annoying when the uncontrollables don't go your way, like missing wide open threes, and then you're also getting officiated the way they did in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And it's tough to overcome all of it. I'm not even blaming the refs. I didn't think the game was officiated horribly. Jalen and Kat don't ever really get the whistles that they fully deserve because they're somehow penalized for being as physical offensively as defenders are allowed to be with them defensively. And all we can hope for is that they get the calls they deserve because they are just getting beat the fuck up, honestly. Cat had more than a handful of drives tonight where he has 2 or 3 guys draped over him, and then another help defender is hitting him. No call. Jalen was getting harassed by Lou Dort all fourth quarter. It's frustrating stuff.
I just think that, like, there was one specific SGA drive where I forgot exactly the angle he took, but Cat did a pretty nice job of getting himself between SGA and the rim. And he, tried his typical acrobatic finish, which is all fine and good. That's his game. He tried to, like, dip around Cat, extend out for the finish, for the finger roll finish. Cat did not move, I don't think. And SGA ends up getting clipped. Gets knocked off his path just a little bit, and they call the foul on Cat.
Yeah.
That's a foul where, do you think that's a foul? Like, yeah, sure, I could give you that call. That just was not reciprocated the whole game. And, like, you have them asking for that foul, and then when they see the Lou Dort replay, like, everybody's throwing their palms up. That
Yeah.
it just can't happen. I'm
It's
not
like
even
if you're
about that.
It's like, how much does Shea weigh? I'm curious.
I mean, he's what,
if you're pulling the 270, 260, whatever Cat is, hip checking 200, then where the fuck is the Lou Dort call when he's just like harassing Jalen down the court and like hip checking him and shoulder checking him off the ball when he's trying to come around a screen or a dribble handoff?
It's like
I
when
need the same logic to apply.
When it gets down in crunch time too, they don't just guard Jalen from the inbound. They hound him from the inbound. I don't know. Like, I feel like if I beat this fucking dead horse, everybody's gonna get tired of it. But, like,
we should get to the comments.
Yeah. Super chat here from Andre Dreyer.
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you. We appreciate it. He asks, do you think Brunson is out tomorrow versus Bulls with the calf issue since it's a back-to-back?
Hope so.
I could see him being out and maybe Deuce comes back tomorrow. I don't know how, like, did we get any reporting on the Deuce hamstring?
No, just that he was out again tonight, I think.
I'm sure if Deuce plays, Brunson will not. And then I'm sure if Brunson does play, Deuce will not.
Kolek start, my goat.
I mean, He just put in an overtime shift 2 days ago, so I don't think he'll mind just playing one game this time.
He'll start campaign, and then he'll have like 26 and 11.
Campaign will have 26 and 11, or Kolek?
Kolek having 26 and 11 would be
Oh,
dope.
okay.
But campaign would pull that shit. He played in Chicago, revenge game.
Oh shit!
It's D Rose night, and then campaign takes over. That would be hilarious.
Wait, what's tomorrow? Oh, tomorrow's the 4th. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say a campaign blow up game on January 6th would have been so funny.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to some more comments over here. First comment from Chris Bernhard. Depth needs to be addressed once Mitch is healthy, and I guess you can blitz players by bulldozing them now. Also, Aaron Wiggins hitting every big three is just so gross. Yes, and yes to all those. I didn't even see this before I got on my like Lou Dort / Thunder players rant, but yeah, their defense was fucking crazy. Lou Dort was the only guy who was allowed to like just slap whoever he wanted tonight.
He's kind of just beating the shit out of people.
There was also a play. I'm sorry to cut you off. There was also a play. So first quarter, I'm out ordering souvlaki, typical Greek shit, right? And I have the stream playing on my phone. Now, up until this point, like I'm sitting in my car waiting to get out because the first quarter is going to be over soon. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to just go now, get a head start, and then hopefully I can leave right when the quarter ends. I get out of my car listening to the stream. Like I don't even have it next to my ear. I have it in front of my face watching it by the truck. Somebody slaps the shit out of Cat. Like they slap the hell out of Cat. I hear the slap echo inside the arena, and then I hear it from my phone. And I was like, damn, they just slapped the hell out of him. No call. I was like, okay, sure. Like, I wonder if he would have got that call back in Minnesota. Because it...
Small market bias.
I just don't know, man. Like, the slap echoed in whatever the fuck arena the Thunder playing, and we didn't get that call. Whatever.
Cat shot 4 free throws. Jalen shot 6.
Jalen missed 3, didn't he?
He missed 2. So not atrocious. I'm not even going to complain about the refs anymore because it wasn't a refs loss game, but the fact that we have to talk about them is annoying because they definitely did play a role.
Yeah, it wasn't a ref loss, and I didn't mean to come off that way for like if I seemed like I was blaming them, but like I had I had my issues with how we played today and how we executed down the stretch. Just feels like this has been a theme, man, for as long as I've really been watching the Knicks. Like in the important games, we don't get the same whistle. But from Neo over here, sucks to lose this one, but it's early January, so I try not to care. And from HB Greg, you can't win every single game. Competed hard, and came up a bit short at the end to one of the best teams. Yeah, I agree with both you guys. It's just that this is a game that you want to win, right? Like this is a contender. This is the first test you've really had since Boston, and I think they really stacked up tonight with OKC. I'm not discouraged by any means. It's just like I'm just pissed. That's all it really is.
It's like hit threes and don't let Aaron Wiggins get hot. Don't let one guy get hot on their team, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's how they always kill you. You let J-Dub get the crowd back into it, and then you left Aaron Wiggins open for one too many threes, and they were all on that left wing too, which was sick. I think he hit one right wing 3, but he hit 3 on the left wing, and it was the same exact swish every time, and I felt like I was in hell.
Luca, here's a good question for you. From Adabombo Adajobi, he says, why are we not spamming Brunson Cat pick and roll down the stretch?
Because Brunson has a big head and he wants to spam iso ball against Lou Dort when he's not going to get any calls. That's my answer. And I saw some people said it was a coaching issue. I think that at this point, Tibbs trusts the players to execute offense. Like, I'm not saying he has no say in how they run their offensive sets down the stretch, but the prevent offense gets annoying, and it has to be an agreement between Tibbs and Jalen as the guy who's running the offense to run it that way. And I just think that's a poor way to just run your offense down the stretch of games. It happens too often still, even with how versatile and elite this offense has become now with the trades that we've made. But again, it's just something that they're going to have to learn from, and it'll come in time. I think the development of the late game offense, because like you said a minute or two ago, this was our first true test since Boston. We played a couple like solid tier teams, but definitely the first true contender in a while that we've played.
Yeah. I also wanted to say, like, this was the first game really where they were doing the high blitz stuff at the end of the game, right? So that probably played a part in it as well. I think they just kind of saw that pop up and they were like, more so Cat and Mikhail were kind of just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I think Cat has to, because the first outlet is always Josh or Mikhail. It's going to be a wing on the left side of the court, because that's how the Knicks like to run their sets to try and get mismatches for Jalen. But I think we'd use Cat as an outlet, because if you're coming off of Josh's man and he's the free roamer, you get Cat on the short roll, and then Josh backdoor, his man has to go back, or Cat's left wide open in the mid range. There's just more stuff we can do. It's just so fucking annoying. It's just so annoying.
Yeah, it's a tough loss to swallow. Because we were right there, and if it's a win instead of a loss, it's a massive statement win.
100%.
Let's see what else we got over here. From Brilliant Hoops right here. Minutes have nothing to do with injuries, exactly, freak injuries. I agree with you that the minutes themselves aren't responsible for the injuries occurring, right? Because these aren't wear and tear injuries. These aren't like, like a stress fracture or anything like that. It's not, I don't know what you want to call it. Like, this isn't like a pitcher having dead arm in baseball or some shit like that. But the point that I was making with that is the freak injuries happen less if you give them less chance to happen. And just by logic, if somebody is out there for 36 minutes a night versus 48 minutes a night, when you play 36 minutes, you are playing 75% of what the other guy is playing. So you chop off 25% of the chance that he's going to get an injury, if that makes sense. Like, every minute you're out there carries a certain amount of weight to being injured. And the less minutes you have, the less likely you are to be injured. So I don't think the minutes are a problem when they're, those one game instances, but season long, like, you're talking about the difference of how many minutes. If you play 40 minutes instead of 35 for 80 games, 80 times 5 is 400. Now all of a sudden you're talking about 400 minutes more than the next guy, which is a whole fucking lot. Any thoughts on that, or
no? Moving on. Okay. That was good.
What do you think about this, Luca? Jordan Bubb says, who do you think we can target at the trade deadline, and who do you want? Or sorry, who do you think we are getting, and who do you want the Knicks to get with their limited assets?
I have not given this any thought because I've just been enjoying the Knicks absolutely torching teams in this recent stretch. And I probably should give this more thought, but also in my head, I'm like, it's probably just going to be some expiring contract on like a $10 to $12 million deal that we'll trade a couple seconds and like salary filler for. I'd be pretty surprised if we move Mitch at this point, just because I don't think he'll have any value. I think we would probably have to attach assets to move him, and I don't know if the Knicks are interested in doing that right now because they have such limited assets. But we played the Jazz the other night. I could see like a Jordan Clarkson trade potentially. I've been talking about Cam Johnson for a while. It could be fun to get the twins back together.
Unfortunately, Brooklyn's not doing that shit.
Even though Cam Johnson's like 40 years old. He's having a really good season over there. But
how old is he?
He's like he's actually not that old. He's like 28. No, he's 20. Yeah, he's 28. But he got drafted like 5 years ago.
Yeah, that part I know because he was like a fifth-year senior or some shit at UNC.
I think he and Mikal were the same draft class.
I feel like we might just get our like our version of like a PJ Washington trade.
You think we trade Mitch then?
No, like so.
I'll be so mad if we trade for Bruce Brown.
I don't think we're going to trade for Bruce Brown, but they gave up for PJ. They gave up Grant Williams and a first-round pick. I thought he went for multiple seconds. Was that? Am I wrong? Was that Daniel Gafford?
They had to match the money. Yeah, I think that was definitely Gafford.
Let me see this. Daniel Gafford went for. Yeah. Okay. It was multiple seconds for Gafford, so never mind. But I do think we're gonna go the route of trading multiple seconds instead of a first for whoever we get at the deadline.
I don't remember who reported it, but there was some pretty respected reporter that said a lot of the veterans, the expiring vets, are going to be available for multiple second-round picks. So there we go.
Look at that.
Constradamus.
Somebody I thought about, and I didn't look at his cap situation at all, but I was talking with a buddy, and we were saying, just because he's a huge LeBron fan, we were talking about the Lakers and who they could get. And I was like, I feel like everybody in the league can kind of like use Harrison Barnes. And he's on San Antonio. He has 2 years. I don't know, honestly. But he has 2 years and I think $37 million left, if I did the math right. So I think that gets close with the Mitch money. And then if you wanted to throw campaign in as like a salary filler, if you need to get that done, that would probably be like the way a deal works. But I don't even know if I want to do that. I don't think I would do that.
Having 4 guards is kind of fun because Tibbs plays them all together,
including Shamet,
Kolek.
Okay. Is that including Payne also? When I brought that up, okay.
Yeah, that's why I brought that up.
I mean, is he though? Because he plays 40 minutes a night with Hart and OG and Miguel. Is he gonna?
That's true. I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what the situation is going to be moving forward. Because if Deuce isn't moving, then like he can't just play Jalen fucking 45 minutes. He has to make a decision if campaign's in the doghouse or if he isn't, and if he is, like Kolek, like fucking 8 to 10 minutes, and we'll live. The offense is more than good enough and is more than talented enough to have Jalen sit because it'll benefit everybody, I think.
Mm-hmm. A couple more comments before we wrap up for today. I just thought this was funny from Jordan Bubb. Ben Taylor has given Josh Hart a tech every game for the last 3 games that he's officiated against the Knicks.
I hate Ben Taylor.
And I said against the Knicks because we all know that's what he's doing. Officiating against them. Yeah. And then Josh Hart follows up, says, as for the refs, that's for y'all to look at. Don't get me started on that one. That's why we love him so much.
Did he have one of the annoying stupid foul calls last year? Or was that Gold? No, it was Gold in Houston.
Oh, with the 3-point shot. With the 3, yeah. Yeah, that was Gold.
I think Ben Taylor refed the home OKC game where Jalen got obliterated by Chet on the game-tying layup.
Oh, my God.
Can we
and then the SGA hit the buzzer beater? That one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben Taylor, dude.
I hate that I know refs by names because it's like
that means
him
they're not good at their job.
And Goebel and Zach Zarba. Like I don't know Gucci's name because he's good at his job.
I know the NFL guys.
You would know the NFL guys. Who's the
Nick Yak here says, with Cleveland being our biggest obstacle, with Jared Allen having a great year for 7-game series, why trade Mitch? I don't necessarily want to trade Mitch. This team wants to trade Mitch. From all the rumors we've heard, his name is dangling in whatever trade talks. I was just throwing out a scenario that I think, salaries match up. Maybe this could happen. I would very much so like for Mitch to still be on this team because I think he gives you I know people say you got to have a changeup to the fastball. I don't think he's even the changeup, honestly. With how good this team is with 5-out spacing and being able to switch everything on defense when Precious is in there, I don't think Mitch is even the changeup, but he's more like that's your slider. That's the 3rd pitch, maybe 4th pitch that you could throw. And I just think there's no reason to use that salary to move him. If you can get a 4th-year guy who's been underperforming for 2 second-round picks, like our version of Xavier Tillman, per se. Instead of a Mavs trade, let's pick a Celtics trade. When they traded 2 second-round picks for Xavier Tillman, that was a market inefficiency. They targeted it. He gave him good minutes in the finals. That's the type of trade we need, not one where we ship out Mitch, in my opinion. But I was just throwing it out there because that's what circumstance might be.
Yeah. I was thinking about it for another second. I don't know why the Blazers would ever do it, but Rick James commented Danilo Banton's name. Tumani Kamara over there. I don't know why they would trade him, but he's making like $2 million. So maybe if we traded Jericho in a couple seconds, that could work.
That's the wing guy?
Yeah, he's 24. He's getting paid $1.9 million this year. And he has no contract guaranteed for next year.
Oh, let's see here. Because I know Portland has a lot of guys who have either looked at myself or I remember. What's up?
They're also like nothing contracts. A lot of them are on minimums.
Yeah. So I've heard about Banton. I've heard about Duop Reith for 2 seasons now. Dumani Kamara. Yeah.
Duop Reith.
And then also Rob Williams has been floated around a lot, right? So
I would trade Mitch for Rob Will, I think.
I don't know if he's healthy or not. I have no clue about that.
Is Mitch healthy?
No. Fair.
That's my whole thing, because like, if we can trade Mitch for an upgrade without attaching positive assets, then we should. But if not, he's making $15 million. He'll probably end up playing like 10 to 12 minutes a game for us off the bench, and can just. I think lineups with he and Cat could be really interesting because we could run some ginormous lineups if we wanted to. Have
With
Mikhail,
Rob
OG,
Will?
Cat. No, with Mitch.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
We
I
could
mean, look,
run Mitch,
I
Cat,
thought
OG, Mikhail, Jalen. That lineup could be. It's as good offensively. Defensively, it would be just annoying. Just really lengthy and trees everywhere.
I thought that our best five might have been with Cat at the 4 and Mitch at the 5, but
I thought,
it's 40 games into the season. We haven't seen it, so I don't know if time might just be running out on that.
yeah, I mean, it depends on when Mitch is going to come back, to be honest. We heard January. It's already January. It could very easily go into late January, early February. We'll just see what happens, I guess. There's not really much we can do with speculate until then.
Yeah. Back to your Benson thing. I want to read that off because
Yeah.
was your part.
From Rick James, Banton is 6'8", can run point for the bench. I don't think we make a big trade until after the season. I agree. I think Schwinn mentioned this on an early pod that he did. We're not really going to be able to make any big moves until this offseason anyway, because we're pretty hard capped for right now. I think like the Suns being able to sign Tyus Jones this past offseason because they were able to free up some money, move off some guys. There's going to be a similar situation for the Knicks. I think we're like we've been talking about, we're just going to make a small trade, hopefully just a couple seconds for either a vet min guy or take a flyer on a young guard or wing piece who's not really getting many minutes. Banton's really interesting because he could run some guard and wing.
Have you watched him a lot? Because I admittedly haven't watched a minute of him.
He's like Cam Reddish, except like 30% better.
Okay.
They play very similar styles of basketball. I think Banton is, he's an exponentially better passer because he does pass the ball at all. And Banton, he has some good vision for a hybrid player like he is. The defense is really poor sometimes because he's still kind of small, like skinny. But
like you could put him in the rim.
Yeah. I think that like it would be like an OG mismatch, huh? You know how you put small guards in the rim?
Yeah.
And small in the rim, he could probably put Benton in the rim.
All right. Well, it's going to be trade season real soon, and we'll get a bunch of answers to this stuff.
Yeah.
Just remember the Knicks are a title contender, and today was a really good fucking game. I think that's important for everybody to remember. Between not having Deuce, tough game to swallow, tough pill to swallow, but they stack up with the best team in the NBA, and that's good, right? Like that's pretty fucking good. So
there's no need to get discouraged at all.
Yeah. Anything else you want to leave off on before we tap out for the night?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, Knicks play again on Sunday against the Bulls.
Against the Bulls.
Yep, you're right. We played tomorrow against the Bulls. Adam Silver didn't want to compete with Roger Goodell in Week 18. And there we go. I will not be here tomorrow. Probably, I don't think. Probably Sam. He will have parlays. Much more money to be made than when I'm over here on the post game. So join back tomorrow for Sam's plays, everybody, and some more analysis, and we'll see you then. Have a good night.